Are you disappointed or are you encouraged?
I'm not disappointed at all. I've satisfied that part of like, oh, so these are the people who were behind that. These are the kind of
These are
thinking
the
that goes,
culprits.
this is how like campaigns are brought out to the world and how we listen to the audience and curate to what they need.
A lot of people know about the brands and about the work that they see out there in terms of advertisements, but not everybody knows who are these people.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good that they get to know who these people are. In no time, those people also may not be there and might be replaced by machines.
No lie. I think I've seen a lot of ads right now produced entirely by AI, but there are people still behind that. You know, they can't just prompt things by themselves. Hopefully, it will never be fully AI driven. Advertising will be human.
Humans are buying. Humans must buy from humans only, what?
True.
Welcome. Welcome to this episode of the NexGen Show. The NexGen Show is about talking to young minds and finding out about their aspirations, their hopes, their challenges, and what they are facing in our advertising and marketing industry. Today, we have a student who has just come into our industry, who studied about our industry and our business, and we want to welcome to the show Zeti Izuren. Welcome, Zeti.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. So let's start by talking about your experience from student to now staff of an agency. How did you tell us about your journey?
I always have cared about my grades. And I was, what they say, in my report card, there's always the word of relentless in my studies.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've always cared about my grades and put a lot of care into what I put out. But I've always had this dream of working. I'm a bit weird in that kind of sense where a lot of kids during that age, they dream of having this and having that. But I've always dreamed about working in a creative industry. So I've always known that that's my one goal that I wanted to do. Because I was very inspired about the Google Office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and was like, oh, I've always wanted to work in that kind of environment. But I didn't know exactly what it was, like advertising, right? Eventually, in university, I got into business economics.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that for foundation, and I also did that for like 2 semesters. And then eventually I pivoted to advertising.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, why did you find a fascination for advertising apart from Google's office? Because most advertising agencies do not look like Google's office.
Now that I'm seeing, they don't.
I mean, we don't want to disappoint you, but what was the fascination about this whole creation bit that inspired you to move on from business economics into advertising?
I've also always loved advertisements. I was that one weird kid where I would remember jingles from commercials. That sort of interest has been there since I was very young. And so I've always wondered and felt when I watched those ads, like weird touching ads, like, oh, I felt for this so much. And I started to wonder, like, who are the people behind this?
Okay.
Yeah. And that intrigued more about advertising. And eventually when I had to make that pivot from economics to advertising, I was like, you know what, let's get a shot at this.
Nice.
And have a go.
Nice. In fact, the foundations that you have in the business economics are quite helpful.
Yeah, it is.
In this business.
Yeah, especially when so I started my internship, and my internship is the role is a bit based upon strategy making and media planning, but also a lot about strategy making. And we do apply like economic based learnings to apply to that strategy, right? So I feel like any pivot that I do, all the journey that I've taken, like it means something and it's a puzzle that is piecing together.
Okay. So you must be a very good student.
Perhaps.
Tell us about some, shall we say, mistakes along the way that you have experienced.
When I first started my internship, right? So eventually I got converted in the same company. It was very daunting, but for some reason they trusted me enough to let me take on very daunting tasks.
Okay.
Right? To assist them during client pitches, to report certain numbers to clients, right? Definitely along the way, I've had like things that I should have said, I should have like worded properly better, and but I think that's the way you improve yourself, right? To put yourself out there and learn from your mistakes and be more proactive into asking like, is this all right? Is this something I should do better? Yeah, I think it's part of the journey.
Now you're doing a bit of media planning, right? Mm-hmm. That includes digital.
Yes.
A lot. I mean, when you talk about media now, the people who make money in media are not even in this country. I don't want to sound like I'm an activist or what. But how do you feel that 80% of the money that marketers spend actually goes to people outside the country?
Outside the country.
I mean, Google and Facebook, you know, as a media planner.
Yeah, we use those platforms to distribute.
Of course, you use the platform. That's 80% of the ad spend, yeah? I'm just asking a stupid question in this respect. We can't control the world. But how do you feel? Because these are the ecosystems that we use in marketing. And there are very few local walled gardens, as to say. Yeah, there are very few local ecosystems. How do you feel personally about that?
I think it is something that cannot be controlled, but also it's how you make the best out of it. And I wish there is a bit of control in that, but it is how it is.
It is how it is. That's the perfect answer. Yeah. What kind of future do you see for yourself in the industry?
I think, like being fresh, 2 months in to the working experience, I've yet to apply what I've learned in university, right?
Of course.
And just seeing, this is how this works, but that's also in one company. So there's a lot more that I have to learn. It's out there. And what I do right now, I love it entirely, like media planning and strategy is what I love for now, but I'm always open to learning new things. But I think I can confidently say, like, I do see myself in the near future still being in advertising. It's what I think I've loved since I was small.
What you thought about the advertising business when you were very young and what you see now, are you disappointed or are you encouraged?
I'm not disappointed at all. I think I've satisfied that part of like, so these are the people who are behind that. These are the kind of thinking that
culprits.
Goes. This is how like campaigns are brought out to the world and how we listen to the audience and curate to what they need. I think a part of me was satisfied with that. And so far, no disappointments yet. But
But your observation is very telling, and we don't talk enough about it in the sense that a lot of people know, as you mentioned, about the brands and about the work that they see out there in terms of advertisements or messages. But not everybody understands or knows who are these people.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good that they get to know who these people are because in no time, those people also may not be there, might be replaced by machines.
No lie, I think I've seen a lot of ads right now. They're like global ads, right? Like produced entirely by AI. But there are people still behind that. They can't just prompt things by themselves. Hopefully, it will never be fully AI driven. Advertising will be human.
Humans are buying. Humans must buy from humans only. What?
Sure.
I want to ask you. Say if I gave you an opportunity today, I said, okay, Zeti, you set up your own advertising agency today. How would you go about doing it?
I think the way I would take that on is I'll find the right people. I don't think I can do it by myself. People who share the same idea, values as I do. I think, especially in advertising, there's things that it's more rich when there's more people in it and giving their own ideas and opinions. And I think that what makes advertising beautiful and ideas more rich and hopefully produce a very more rich output for the client. So I think the first step I would do is finding the right people to take on this project together with me.
Let me tell you a story.
Sure.
Once upon a time, there was a man who handled the Malaysia-Singapore Airlines account. This is a very large account.
Yeah.
And then Malaysia separated from Singapore. After 1957, after a few years, Malaysia separated from Singapore. And Singapore went out on its own. So this gentleman who was handling Malaysia-Singapore Airlines suddenly realized that his account has been split into two.
Yeah.
He's a very brave man, His name is Ian Beatty. And he was working in KL. McCann Erickson used to handle the account, the MSA account, Malaysia-Singapore Airlines. And he went on to, when it was split, the following weekend, he went to Singapore. He checked into a hotel and called the Singapore Airlines client. Of course, he knew the Singapore Airlines client because they were partners, right? They used to work together. And said, I'm open for business to handle the Singapore Airlines account. And the client gave it to him and trusted him. And like you said, he found the right people. He found the best people in the world. Not just the right people, He steered the brand to what it is. They say that he came up with the Singapore Girl concept and all that. So on that note, I feel that this question that I posed to you is an open question. You never know where the next opportunity comes. And I hope that someday it will come to you. Yeah, with your relentless spirit and with your focus, hopefully you will find a place where you will be able to create and develop a brand like that.
I hope so too.
On that note, is there anything else you want to add, Zeti? I've been doing quite a bit of talking, sorry.
No, perhaps like general tips for me as I venture on. What should I have in mind when I explore new things into the advertising industry?
I personally, I believe that you have a very good attitude. It is that this is how you're going to grow. And while you may be a good student in school, you maintain that same studentship at work. You'll never go wrong.
Thank you.
Most important is to find the right people to work with. Yeah. And I believe you are currently at that space. Yeah. Because in this business, if I may add, there are a lot of experts. Yeah. And then you don't want to waste your time to find out whether they really are experts, or they're just advertising themselves as experts. So finding the right people is important to work with. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'll
You're
keep that
welcome.
in mind.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of another episode of the Next Gen Show. We've been talking to Zeti Izuren, who is a student and now exploring our industry with great ambition. Thank you.